Hi everyone, Linda here again with you from Gunlet Lane Jewellery. I'd like to welcome you back and welcome you if you're new to my channel. So this week we've got another link, and it's a continuation, or a variation I should say, on last week's tutorial for the jelly bean link. As I promised, I said I'd do a couple of variations, and here they are. This is one with 18 and a 20 gauge wire. And I've bored the ends on the 20 gauge wire there. And if you don't play with a torch, you can always paddle those ends, so you're not left out if you don't do torching. And then there's also here one with a twisted wire around it as well, around the 18 gauge as well. So if you'd like to learn how to make those links, stay with me and I'll get all my supplies together and I'll get right back with you. Okay, so let's get started with this link. I've got a piece of 18 gauge wire that measures 11 centimeters, which is almost 4.5. You could make it 4.5 inches just to make it easier. And I've got a piece of 20 gauge that I've balled the ends on, and that measures 10 centimeters, which is 4 inches. Okay, so we've got our two pieces of wire here together, and it doesn't matter what side you put either one on, that's totally up to you. Excuse me. I'm just going to grab my 6-step pliers, and I'm coming into my largest mandrel. I'm just going to place that on the wire, almost halfway, not quite halfway, which is pretty much what we did for the original one that I showed you last week. Okay, just want to keep those reasonably level together. So I'm bringing that around. So it's the same steps as we did last week. Around like that. I'm slipping that off. I'm putting the smaller end in and the larger end on the outside here. And then I'm bringing these two wires around and up and over. And then slipping them off. Just put my 6 steps to the side because I need those again in a moment. Now this can be a little bit fiddly, this part here, keeping your wires lined up. So what we're going to do, as you can see, they're you know, out of whack there, so we're just going to straighten those up, which will make life a little bit easier. So just do it with your fingers like I did then. They don't have to be perfectly straight, just as long as you've got them fairly much in line. Okay, I'm going to pop my 6-step pliers. That was almost like a lisp then. Yeah, back in the mandrel, hopefully you can see that there. And I'm just going to bend these two wires on the outside up like that. And I actually want, I'm going to take that off my pliers. I actually want my 18 gauge to be on the inside, so I'm just going to cross that over. This is just a preference for me. You can do it any way you like. Try and keep them fairly, it's an organic link, but just to make life easier, try and keep them fairly well lined up, if that makes sense. Actually, what I really wanted to do was do them from this side. But it doesn't matter, I'm going to do it from this side. I haven't done one from this side, so we'll see how it turns out. If it doesn't turn out the way, or you know, like that I like it, then I'll just redo it the other way. So I'm just taking that 18 gauge wire around. Bringing it up and over. Tightening it up. And pulling it around. Okay, now we're going to cut that tail off. Actually, it's going to be interesting to see how this one turns out, seeing I did it the opposite way to how I've done the other ones. You never know unless you try. It's all about playing and learning as you go. And now I'm going to take the 20 gauge bald end and pop it through. And bring that around. And tighten it up so you've got a bit more wire to play with. Okay. See, that's the way it's supposed to look on the inside there. So I'm just having a look to see whether I like it. This one's going to be on the top, so it doesn't matter. I suppose it's much of a muchness. Okay, good. Now this time you can open your wires up if you want to and fit it on the big one, but it's not really necessary. You'll fit it on the second one. It's only to bring the wire around, so you'll fit it on the second smallest one. Excuse me. Just bring your wires over again. And then I'm going to grab my flat nose pliers to hold on to this while I wrap these. So I'm doing the 18 gauge wire again first. Just need a better grip on that. Just make sure they're nice and tight. And then we'll cut that one off. Tap it down. Grab the 20 gauge and wind it around. Just remembering this is organic, so there's no right or wrong way to it. It's whatever looks nice to you. So, you know, don't get all pedantic and all fussy and worried and think you're doing something wrong. You're not. Just as long as it looks nice to you, that's all that matters. And that you're having fun doing it. If you're not having fun, then you shouldn't be doing it. There we go. So I can just pull that wire in a little bit if I want to. Line that up a little bit more. Bring that up a little bit more. Tidy these up at the back if you want. It's not a biggie. We're going to hammer it anyway. Okay, that's different to the other one. See, the other one has more of the wire on the inside, where it's only sort of on the top of this one, and you can just see it peeking through at the bottom. But, you know, that's the beauty of organic jewellery. Nothing is ever going to turn out the same way twice, and that, to me, is the part that I love about it the most, and the part that I find interesting. There's always something new to look at. Okay, so I'm just going to hammer this now with my rubber hammer. of those down. That's my little quenching bowl knocking up against my kiln blocks there. Okay, give that a hammer. Actually, I should have done the back side first. I'm sorry. Do the back side first and just concentrate on those middle wraps. Then turn it over and do front side. Okay, put these away. And let's have a look at it. I think that's lovely. That just screams organic at me, and it you know, it's just going to look gorgeous putting a chain. Now I've shown you a bigger one here, obviously, because a small one would be quite hard to do. You can have tempted a small one if you like. I just, for demonstration purposes, wanted to show you this. And I wouldn't necessarily make a whole chain using all of these. I would use these as focals through the chain, you know, with the smaller jelly bean, or even a different link altogether. You know, just a normal, let me see here. Got some chain here somewhere. I was just making some. Where did I put it? Oh, just here. I've got a piece on another piece here. You know, just some normal links like that, and then maybe another jelly bean down there, something, you know, just play around with it and see what you think anyway. But I think that's beautiful. So anyway, when we come back, I've got one more for you, and we'll go from there. Okay, back with you. Now again, I've got a piece of 18 gauge here that is 11 centimeters long, and I also have a piece of twisted wire, which is two 22 gauge wires twisted together, and that's the same length, so both 11.5 centimeters. So we're going to do exactly the same thing. I probably shouldn't even have to demonstrate this one to you. You just do it exactly the same way. Although this one's a little bit harder for some reason. I guess maybe it's because it's not, the wire's not annealed, but we're coming in just a little bit less than halfway. Or maybe it's because it's twisted wire. I don't know. I'm not sure on this one why it's a little bit more difficult to manage. All right, so we've got that going. Putting the smaller one in. The larger one, bringing it up and around. Okay, let's put my pliers aside for a second. All right, now I want this one on top. So I'm just flattening those out now. I think it's because the twisted wire is more springy than the normal 18 gauge. They just don't want to line up the way that you want them to. All right. Okay, having a little think here which angle is going to be better for me to come in from. Yeah, I'm going to flip those over. Yeah, because I want the twisted to be on top. And for some, well, it was the way I lined them up when I twisted the wire, when I was doing my loops. That's what it was. I was trying to think then, why is that so different? Okay, so I'm going to come in with my pliers here again. As I said, it doesn't matter which one you use. Just open it up a little bit if you have to. A little bit hard to get this under the camera. Come on, get down there. Good, thank you. Okay, and holding this one now, because this is very springy on this side here. Just pull your other two wires over. See how the twisted one wants to spring back? Oh. I'm just going to grab my flat-nose pliers. You probably have to hold this on this hand quite firmly, I would say, to hold that in place there. So I'm just going to lift my twisted wire out of the way and get my 18 gauge down there, and just want to try and readjust this here a little bit. Now this one I would definitely not do a lot of because it is a little bit more time consuming than the first one I showed you, the first one today. So I would only do a couple of these in a necklace or just a pair of earrings or something. What am I doing? Okay, I'm going to wrap that around. I mean, it's worthwhile doing it by all means because it's such a pretty link, and when it's oxidized, it's going to look gorgeous because of the twisting wire. Oh, there goes my stomach again. What time is it? Oh yes, it's lunchtime. Yep, okay, it's looking good. So now we come in for the twisted wire. I didn't even need to cut that off. That was quite a good length there on that one. Just push it down a little bit. Okay, this one needs a little bit of a trim up. And a tuck down. One of these days I'll find a non-slip mat that actually works. I bought a new non-slip mat. See this blue one underneath? But it still slides. I've got my laptop on top of it to hold it in place. It still slides everywhere, so I don't know where the non-slip comes in. So I thought I'd sticky tape down my mat to it, and that doesn't work either. It just slides all over the place, and it just drives me insane. If you say something's non-slip, then make sure it's non-slip. I mean, it's just a normal tabletop, so I don't understand why it's slipping all over the place. So anyway, the other side. Do you want to hear my complaints? And I'm fitting that onto the smaller side. Just like that. And bending those up. I'm going to come in with my flat nose pliers and hold that in the middle. I just want to bring that one back a little bit. Get a better grip on this. Get this one out of the way while I do this. Sorry, I had an itchy nose. Okay, now I need to cut this one off. I'm just going to tighten that up a little bit more first. Now, I had a couple of people ask me in the comments from last week's video about these cutters that I'm using here. They're a German brand, as you can see there. They're from Germany. They're Nipix. There's the name there. And if you want to take a screenshot, there's the numbers there and more there. I don't know what all these all mean, but yeah, that's, so if you want to take a screenshot of that, and they're fabulous colours, absolutely fabulous. I've had them for roughly about 2 years now, and you can see how sharp they still are. They're they're a wonderful pair of pliers. I just love them. You won't get into really tight places with them because they're not a real tight, well, they're fairly, but I mean, you get into fairly tight places, but not if you're doing really delicate work and you need to get in, then they probably won't do that for you. You know, that's when you need something like Tronics or something like that with the really fine tips on them. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know, because I did have a few people ask me what they were. And I got them on Amazon, and there's a few different ones that look the same as mine, so that's why I gave you the numbers, because they're not all the same. All right, so now we're going to wrap this one. This is going to come up and over. Tighten that up. Okay, I'm going to cut the back of that one. I'm just going to tighten that first one down a little bit more. I didn't get him done very well. Oops, come here. Okay, this is our front, yes. All right, now we're going to give that a hammer. Oh, stomach, goodness, stop it. And so I'm doing the back side first. Now, if you're worried about hitting your fingers, I showed in last week's video, you can use a tool to hold that down if you're worried about hitting your fingers, but it's only a rubber hammer. It's, you know, it's still going to hurt, but it's not going to hurt as bad as a metal hammer. Get this thing straightened up again, goodness. I haven't seen another tutorial where anybody's mat moves around as much as what mine does. I don't know what I'm doing wrong with the mat thing. Okay, so that's one, and I think that's gorgeous too. And as I said, once it's oxidized and cleaned up and polished, so I'll just show you a few that I've made here. Each one's a little bit different. As I said, you're never going to get two exactly the same. Well, I suppose you could if you wanted to be pedantic about it, but I'm not pedantic about most things jewellery. Yeah, I think that was the first one I did. Yeah. So anyway, there are little links. That's it. I think they can make beautiful earrings. You know, that's stunning on its own, just hanging off an ear wire, or put two together and you've got, you know, a double one or a triple one. If you want shoulder dusters, do one of those in the middle, one of those, you know, like just play around with it. In a bracelet, like look at that, something like, or even those all together like that, or one of those in the middle. You know, something what else have I got? Oh, but where's my big one I was making earlier? This one, this is in 10 gauge. Man, that's hard to work with, that wire. But I'm doing other things with this. I've just, that's as far as I've got with it so far, but you can imagine something like that in a bracelet. Yeah, actually, I'd probably do the smaller jelly bean ones. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to have a play with that. I haven't had enough of to think about it. Something like that in a bracelet. Yeah, anyway, that's our tutorial for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I've got an absolutely gorgeous, well, I think it is a gorgeous link for you next week, so I hope you tune in for that one. I'm almost tempted to show it to you now, but I'm not going to. I've almost completed the chain, and I'm just so in love with it. Excuse me. All right, so that's our links for this week. I hope you enjoy them. Facebook, don't forget about Facebook down the bottom. It's a private group. It's free to join. I'll leave a link down the bottom for you if you'd like to join us over there on Facebook. We've just clocked up over 300 people that have joined up now. And as I said, I've told you before in other videos, people are sharing their work, asking for advice, asking questions about things, you know, or mostly jewelry related. And yeah, we're just having a fabulous time over there. So if you'd like to be a part of that, please just check the link down the bottom and head on over there. Okay, guys, that's all I've got to say, I think, for this week. So I will catch you all at next week's video for, I think, an absolutely gorgeous link. Anyway, guys, take care and go out there and make something beautiful, and I will see you all next week. Stay safe. Bye, guys.